Hi everyone, thank you so much for your time, precious time, and for your efforts to be with us today. We will be focusing on men's mental health because it's the Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, so we celebrate men. So as we observe Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, we acknowledge that many men are carrying invisible burdens. Some are navigating successes but feeling exhausted. Others are facing uncertainty, grief, financial pressure, relationship difficulties, or loneliness. Today we want to have an honest conversation about the strength behind the silence and how every man experiences different seasons in their lives. So, welcome to this session as we acknowledge the strength behind the silence and understanding that men's mental health is important. So, we're focusing on this, we're giving it the attention it deserves because every season has a purpose and every man has a story to tell, and therefore no man should struggle alone. Well, my name is NJ Mashatula, industrial and organizational psychologist, and I am here today to say let's walk this season together. Let's walk the season together. So we are going to be speaking a lot. So one of the most lesson that I've learned in life, as well as my practical experiences involved, is the thinking that the key to interpersonal relationship, that is your relationship with other people, is intrapersonal relationship. That is the relationship you need to have with yourself. So we are going to do some self-check, and that is for you to reevaluate where you are, and so that you can be able to reposition yourself and understand yourself. Right, let's get started. The aim of this presentation is to raise an awareness and deepen your understanding of mental health through the different seasons of life, and to recognize that every person, irrespective of gender, experiences unique seasons with their own challenges, and with that there are opportunities for growth. You know the saying, when you go through some challenges in life, you emerge stronger than you were before. So there was an old adage saying, what doesn't kill you make you strong. I'm not a fan of that, but what I can tell you is that the seasons are there for a purpose in your life. You go through them, we grow through them. So I can attest to that. When I wrote the chapter on post-traumatic growth, I had an opportunity to reflect a lot on that in terms of the strength that one develops when they are facing adversities, the resilience that comes out of that. So the main focus for this session is on how to develop awareness, understanding, as well as connection with other people, and to grow through your experiences of the seasons. So just a question to reflect is, if your current emotional state was a season of the year, what season will it be? And maybe consider asking yourself why. If your current emotional state was a season of the year, you know the 4 seasons, what season will it be? And why would it be that specific season? Wow. I will need you to ponder on that question as we go through the presentation and have a conversation with yourself. It starts with you. Start having conversation with yourself before. Like I said, the key to interpersonal relationship is in intrapersonal relationship. Right. With that question in mind, I would like us to reflect on this slide. Most of you might know Nicolas Cage is an actor in most of the action movies. So taking that avatar of Nicolas Cage. So on a scale from Nicolas to Cage, how are you feeling today? How are you today? Have you ever been asked that question? Did your colleague, your friends, your loved ones, significant others ask you that question today? How are you feeling? Just call you, get an opportunity to be. They called you, they text you, they wrote a note for you and ask and check in with you. How are you doing? So there are 9 phases there. And I'm asking, if they did not do that, well, I'm doing that on their behalf, and I'm asking you this question: how are you doing today? As you hearing this voice, I'm taking this opportunity to ask you, how are you doing? Are you feeling happy? Do you feel carefree? Do you feel relaxed, excited, focused? Like myself now, I'm focused and stressed, feeling angry, feeling number 8 or number 9. So sometimes it happens as we go through some challenges in life, we navigate through different emotions. We navigate through different challenges, and they are inevitable. It's part of life. But how we navigate, how we find meanings out of that, how we rediscover our strength, ourselves, it's what matters. And how what you went through shaped you to a point that you are able to see, to recognize when someone else is going through something, and being able to reach out for that person, help the person out. So most of the people ask the question, but how do I know when to help? How do I help? Because I'm not skilled. So today, I'm going to be answering those questions. How do you help when you are not trained? You do not need to be trained. You need to be there for the person. You need to know which seasons that are in. You need to know what to do when the season is over, what to expect, and how to reposition yourself to be there for that person. So most of the people ask the question, but why do men keep quiet? Why do men become silent? Well, that is another question that we'll be talking about, we'll be focusing on when we unpack the mental health challenges. Right, let's move on. So the question why men's mental health matters centers around the questions of why do you think many men find it difficult to speak about their emotional struggles? Well, the World Health Organization provided us with research on that, research findings on that, and the findings indicate that often more men find it less likely to recognize and acknowledge emotional distress, to seek professional help for mental health concerns, to discuss their personal or emotional challenges with others, and to access psychological support early. So you will notice that those are not the only reasons why, but they could be other salient factors that could be perpetuating mental health issues. So the main thing that I need to focus on today is many men are suffering silently. It becomes difficult to talk about what you are going through. They often find it less likely to speak about their emotional struggles. because there are so many stereotypical thinking. There are so many, misconceptions around the emotional expressions of men. Men doesn't cry, it's a sign of weakness, and so cultural expectations, socialization also play a role in terms of that. The other aspect is they are less likely to seek professional support because, someone will ask you this question, quite concerning, that I'm going through this and that, and then, but how do I go and seek professional support when how do I express myself in front of a woman, in front of a lady? How do I expect to be comforted? I mean, how do I expect a lady to comfort me? And some of them, they find it difficult to ask for help when they are overwhelmed. So all those, especially the one of this finding it difficult to discuss personal or emotional challenges with others, that is the connection part of it I indicated it. The first one is awareness, recognizing and acknowledging that this is where you are, this is what you're experiencing. The first step is to have an awareness of your emotions, awareness of the challenges that you are finding yourself, and acknowledge that they are there and you need to do something about them. Then also being able to seek professional help. There's strength in seeking help, there's strength in speaking, because professional help you to see things differently, objectively, to see things for what they are, not what you think they are. So it's important to make use of the services that are available to you. While you might not know how to go about that, you might find excuses not to make use of those. So that is the first step too. The moment you find yourself coming up with a lot of reasoning why you should not do that, why it's difficult to do that, that is a sign of mental health issue. Inability to know that you need help. So all these findings that I indicated here result in what? In distress. They manifest as a distress. And the moment one finds it difficult to speak about their emotional struggles, to seek professional support, and to ask for help when they are overwhelmed, they are most likely to experience distress. And distress often appears or manifests as anger, irritability, withdrawal, overworking, alcohol and substance use, and emotional numbness. The first one, anger. You become easily angered because there is a lot that you are carrying. There is a lot that you are carrying. You become impatient with other people, and you don't know how to express yourself. You know, there are those type of a situation where you end up saying things and you regret after, or you think after you already said that. Also irritability, finding it, you easily get irritable. Some people will tell you it's because of I haven't slept enough, it's because of the workload. Some people that you used to know, this person is a social person, they are outgoing and stuff like that, suddenly they are no longer doing that. They are withdrawn. They are no longer doing what they used to enjoy. So the moment you see someone going through that, the moment you see someone experiencing that, know that they need help. Others, on the flip side of things, is they tend to overwork. Instead of when you still be expecting withdrawal, they are overworking. They come up with every excuse they can get to overwork, to get themselves busy, so that they don't face what they are going through. Late night working over the weekends, working during vacations and stuff like that. So the other thing is, the moment your psychological resources are under pressure. So some of the people, because people are different, they resort to alcohol and substance use. It starts small. It starts as alcohol and substance use until it becomes too much. It goes beyond that, and it becomes alcohol or substance abuse. So they'll just tell you, now I'm struggling to sleep, I just need this, it helps me to sleep, stuff like that. The reasoning, remember I said, the reasoning behind that. And emotional numbness also. Right. So the question we ask here is, why do you think many men find it difficult to speak about their emotional struggle? Why do you think? And the key message here, while you're still thinking about that question or trying to answer it for yourself, is that many men have learned to be strong. Socialization. Many men have learned to be strong, have learned to handle it by themselves, to not complain, and to keep moving. People will tell you, we keep soldiering, keep moving. So the moment you learn to be strong, to handle it yourself, to never complain and to keep going, what you are doing is you are creating what we call emotional suppression. And most of the people tend to mistaken that, think emotional suppression is being resilient. No, emotional suppression is not resilient. When someone is strong, when someone is able to withstand the storms of life through different seasons, there is resilience in that. However, emotional suppression, not expressing how you are feeling, is not resilience. Healthy resilience is learning how to process challenges effectively. And the first step is to do what? Is to acknowledge. Is to know what you are facing, what you are going through, and acknowledge. Take the other step, seek professional help, speak about the readiness to speak about that, and to make use of the support system as early as possible. All right. I hope you find this enlightening. Let's move on to another point. Let's check in. I remember I stick to what I said when I started from the onset, that the key to interpersonal, your relationship with other people, is intrapersonal relationship, is a relationship with yourself. So time to check in. Let's check in. Most of you, sometimes when we are going through some challenges, setbacks in life, you tend to think, maybe you experience workload at work, you tend to think, yeah, if I can just go on holiday and come back, if I can just go somewhere and come back, everything could be better. But what you are forgetting here is the fact that it's like studying. You need to do something about the problems, the challenges that you're facing. It's like studying for an exam. And you've got a lot of chapters, 5 chapters to go through, and you keep on procrastinating. Procrastination is a thief of time. So D-2, you're left with 2 days, and you're like, oh, no, I'll cover. Next thing, before you know it, you're left with a day. And the moment the pressure is piled up, you're thinking, let me go by the beach and walk. I'll get that breeze, sea breeze. So you keep on postponing. By the time you're thinking, I've left my textbook on page 20, you go and swim, you come back. Well, surprise, when you come back, you sit there, the textbook is still on page 20. So that's the same thing that can happen when you do not become aware and acknowledge what you are going through. If you're not doing anything about that, no, they are not going to go away. So the other thing that you need to know in terms of that is, think of what you're seeing. If the last month was a theme park ride, which is the pictures that you see there, they look familiar. You normally take your kids for the park ride. So if last month was a theme park ride, which one will it be there? Just look at them closely. Which one will it be? Well, while you're still thinking about that, imagine that every challenge you faced this year has been placed into a backpack on your shoulders. Remember, on your shoulders, you're carrying a backpack on your shoulders, representing each responsibility, whether it's work pressure, deployment, finance concerns, family commitment, relationship difficulties, health issues, disappointments, or the expectations of others. So now you've got a situation where if the last month was a theme park ride, you want to think, which one will it be? And I want you to move from the month of the theme park ride to a year. If the challenges you faced this year has been placed into a backpack on your shoulders with different responsibilities, the focus here is not what is it that is in your backpack. It's not those type different responsibilities, but it's how heavy is that backpack. And it's, if you were to be given an opportunity to offload, to reduce, to take out some of those responsibilities in there, which ones will you start with? If you were to ask for help, which ones will you need help with first? I used these two analogies because sometimes it gets tough, it gets overwhelming. You feel like you can just drop everything and go on vacation, forgetting that when you come back, the problems are still there. So the key message here is understanding life through seasons, because the nature teaches us an important lesson that no season lasts forever and that life moves through cycles, meaning you need to acknowledge, you need to know where you are in life in terms of the seasons, in terms of the challenges that you have faced, because each season has a purpose and each season has a requirement. You need to know it so that you can be able to know how to respond and how to reposition yourself. All right, I hope this was an introspection for you, that you should not run away from problems when you're encountering them. First, acknowledge, become aware and acknowledge and seek help. Reach out. Sometimes it can happen, when I say reach out, I just remembered now, it can happen that you are at work and you want to talk to your colleague, but again, the key here is being able to recognize these signs in another person, because you might be wanting to offload to another person who might be carrying, whose backpack might even be heavier than yours. Sometimes someone can come to you. The reason I'm saying seek professional help is someone can come to you and say, no, it's fine, you can trust me, you can talk to me. And then before you know it, they are overwhelmed also. They offload to somebody, they open up to someone, and then it becomes a vicious cycle. And the next thing, you feel like when you are walking, that people are talking about you. People knows a lot about you, and when the friendship maybe ends, then you feel like the person owes you something, or they are likely to betray you. So it's important to seek professional help because you know what you say will stay there. And you know if that's not the case, you've got legal steps, avenues that you can. Right. I hope that is clear. Let's move on. So how do we navigate through the seasons? So nature teaches us an important lesson that no season lasts forever. Life moves through cycles. It can happen. These are the seasons that you know, the 4 seasons that you know: spring, summer, winter, autumn. So you know them and they happen not in sequence. Even there on the slides, they are not in sequence. So I need you to understand that they do not happen in sequence, and that's why I'm creating this awareness so that you know and you know how to respond to that. Let's start with nature, with the spring. Spring represents growth and new beginnings. You might be starting a new career, a new relationship, a new personal development, a new, a lot of things that are going on in your life. But the question that is key, that is most important there, it is what is currently growing in your life? What is it? You are in the prime age. You started something new. That is spring, there's growth, there's new beginning. So you are energetic, you are so, full of energy. Then someone who's in there will at some stage make a transition. You grow, you feel you need to elevate yourself. That's normal. Everyone wants to grow. Then you make a transition into summer. Summer is represented by or characterized by success and productivity. The examples there is yearning, longing for promotion, leadership position, and achieving goals. So now you can see you are moving up now, you are transitioning into another season. So it's good to be promoted and all. That's why you now feel the need to prove yourself, show your skill set, showcase. Well, in terms of that, when you are going through the season, the key question, the risk there is the burnout, overworking, working yourself, because you want to show people that you deserve this promotion. You've got a different, unique skill set, this leadership position, you deserve it. So what I've seen, what I've observed over time is that many successful men, many men are successful publicly, but are privately exhausted. So that is the season, they're in the summer season. Have you ever looked, the question you've asked here is, have you ever looked successful on the outside? People, I know some of the people that they are looking successful on the outside while they are feeling overwhelmed on the inside. Spend a lot of hours wanting to drink, wanting to overwork themselves, wanting to sleep, wanting to do all these things because they've overwhelmed their psychological resources. Right. Now we move to autumn. Autumn is characterized by what? By change and transition. Remember, you moved from there, summer, you move into change and transition. This could be you spend a considerable years in your career at your workplace. Now, in life also, you're no longer young, you're no longer full of energy. Now it's a time where one is experiencing career change, divorce, loss of ending of relationships, children, they are grown-ups now, they are leaving home, they're going to varsity. You are also, you've aged gracefully, so you are retiring, so you're leaving what used to be your identity, what you used to relate to for years. So the challenge there is what? It's identity. It becomes a mental health issue if not managed properly, because many men attach identity to their position at work, to how much they earn, which is their income, to their rank or position or status at work, and to their job performance. So when someone is in their autumn season, the challenge in most cases is on identity. What happens if I lose this? How will my family, how will the people in the society treat me, think of me? So the question that the person in autumn season is experiencing is, who am I when the title disappears? That's the most important question. And that if you are not happy with the answer that you get, then that's when you start being worried about a lot of things. Well, the last season there, it's winter. Winter is characterized by loss, by waiting, patience, and struggles. So the examples there, one might be experiencing grief, experiencing sadness, feeling alone, feeling like a failure. So what you need to know for yourself and for someone who might be experiencing this is, winter is not punishment. It is not punishment, it is preparation. You need to be patient with yourself or with another person. Sometimes you need to tell yourself and know that growth happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible. So you need to know yourself, you need to be there. Remember, the most important thing there is to accept the season, to learn from the season, to grow through the season, and to trust the process. That's the most important thing that you need to know. You will understand that some of the people, they become silent because they know what they are going through. They know the seasons that now I can't speak. I need to be patient with myself. I need to know what am I going through, right? And sometimes, we speak of the strength behind the silence. What does silent suffering looks like? There's a lot when people are going through the season. Silent suffering looks like, men often say, I'm fine, when they're actually exhausted, when they're actually discouraged, when they're feeling lonely, when they're feeling anxious. Some of the common silent struggles become financial pressures, men carrying the burden of provision, relationship challenges, identity struggles, questions such as, am I successful enough? Am I respected? Am I failing? Loneliness, when you feel you have many acquaintances, but you've got very few trusted people that you can confide in. And the question that I want to ask you on the basis of these silent struggles is, who do you talk to when life becomes overwhelming? Who do you talk to? Well, it happens that when one is going through those seasons, it's important that you know what to do, you know how to respond to that. The most important thing that you need to know is that after a great victory that is following every seasonal change, many men collapse emotionally. They collapse. And probably because of what they went through, they feel fearful, scared, they're exhausted, they feel alone, that no one cares about them. They feel hopeless, there's no meaning in this hope for this life. So when someone has just made a transition or emerged or just moved from one season to the other, It can happen that they collapse. It can happen that they feel hopeless. They are more afraid. What you can do is, before wanting to know what is happening, what are they going through, what you need to know first is to address their well-being, is to ask and check in with them whether they've rested enough, whether they've got proper food, they've recovered, connection, renewed purpose. You need to first attend to their well-being before. Imagine someone, after you went through a lot of things, challenges in life, and the first thing they are asking you is, how was it? Really? How was it? How was what? You don't know whether this person is thirsty, whether this person is feeling cold, whether this person, has water. When last did they eat? The psychological first aid principles that kicks in here. You need to pay attention to the primary needs of the person, because the moment someone is well nourished, rested, that's when they are able to open up. So what you need to know is to first address their well-being. Why? Because many men, actually everyone, but now because we are focused on men, I keep on saying many men or men, they need sleep before they come up with solutions. They need to recover before taking on any responsibility that might be on hold while they were struggling with the challenges. They need support before they can sit down and plan. So you need to be there. You need to support them. So that's what you do. Now that you know that those seasons are inevitable, you will go through them. Any person will go through them. This is how you respond to any person who went through those. All right. I hope this is making sense, and I hope this is as practical as I'm thinking it is. And the question that I will leave you with in terms of this well-being is, what area of your well-being have you been neglecting recently? It's not about the challenges, it's not about what caused that. It's what area of you, because whoever needs to help you must first address your well-being. So what area of your well-being have you been neglecting recently? Right, that's important. That's important to reflect on. Well, we are now going to the framework for mental health. This is the framework that you can use for any person that is going through mental health issues, irrespective of gender. So this framework, I've developed it, and I call it the season. So the season framework is a practical toolkit that can help you to address some of the mental health challenges, to be there for someone, to understand someone who's going through mental health issues and be able to support them. The first one is it's important to attend to the spiritual well-being, to know what keeps this person grounded, what keeps you grounded during difficult seasons, what gives this person meanings, what are the values of this person, the faith and purpose. What do they tend to when they're experiencing difficult situations. The second one is to also be aware, the emotional awareness. Instead of asking that person what's wrong with you, or asking yourself what's wrong with me, you need to ask the question, what am I feeling? You remember I said the key is to be aware of your feelings, is to be aware of your situation and acknowledge that you need to know. Then the second one is accountability. So every man needs a mentor, friends, brotherhood. Connection is important when someone is going through mental health. So remember, healing, it seldomly happens alone. You need connection, you need other people, right? And then what is also important is self-care. You need to sleep, you need to exercise, to eat properly, good healthy lifestyle, recreation, participate in other recreational activities. Also, this tends to be quite controversial. People tend to say, feel neglected, because the moment you want to engage in self-care, they think you are selfish. You don't want to talk, to spend time with them, to be with them, and stuff like that. Remember, self-care is not selfish. Self-care is maintenance. You are maintaining yourself, because remember, you cannot pour out from an empty cup. You need to service yourself first. The moment but this becomes easier when you communicate. You don't just disappear on people and you say you are engaged in self-care. No, you communicate that your tank is becoming half, it's becoming empty, and you need to recharge, so that they don't disturb you, so that they don't feel like you're ignoring, they don't feel that there's a sudden change. So communicating that also help to create boundaries, and also it's a source of support. They will be it's key, because they will be able to know that they need to support you. They do not need to keep on demanding. They'll give you some space. The second last one is openness to help. Seeking help is not weakness, it is wisdom. Support may include professional counseling, coaching, access to psychological support, pastoral care, and trusted friends. You need to be open to help. Then the last one is the next step. After all those, what should be the next step? Remember, growth happens one step at a time. Don't be too much on yourself or on any other person. Ask this question: what is the one action I can take this week to improve my well-being? Remember, it's not next week, it's not next year. It's not next year, it's not next month. No, it's next week, this week, or tomorrow. What is the one action? It's not 5 actions. Be patient with yourself. So this is how you can put into practice this seasons framework that I've developed. And if you've got any question in terms of the implementation of this, let me know, so that I can be able to help you and give you more information on this. Right. We are heading towards the end. Let's do a self-check. How this is important, because the moment you keep on doing it with yourself, it will become, with practice, something easy to use, to check in with another person. So how are you doing today? So if you were to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is I'm really struggling, 10 is I'm doing very well. So when you find yourself in any season, or someone else in any season, ask this question: how are you doing with your emotions? How are you feeling? You do not need to exactly ask them as they are, but adjust them to your need, to your style or preference. How are you doing with your physical health? How are you doing health-wise? How is your energy? How is your health? How is your stress level? How do you react to whatever that you are going through? How is your relationship with your family and friends? How's your sense of purpose? What is your sense of purpose and direction? So the moment you get an indication of where this person is or where yourself is, it helps to know what to do. It helps to know which areas to attend to. So that is important, just to check in with yourself and check in with another person. So those are the reflection questions that can help you to know which area received. You look at the area that received the lowest score and what might be contributing to that score. And what is the one small step you can take this week to improve it? And whom can you talk to if you need support? So those are the things that can help create awareness, because remember I said awareness is the first step towards your well-being. You don't have to fix everything today. You simply need to have the courage to acknowledge where you are and take one step forward. Be patient with yourself and caring. So when you are looking at your scores through that, consider what seasons are you currently in and what is the one step you can take towards a healthier season. So let's have a look at our wellness challenge. What you can do this week is to check on a brother, a friend, a father, a husband, a son, or a colleague. You need to check on them. Just check on them. How are they doing? How are they doing? How's their health and stuff like that? Because sometimes the strongest people are the ones that are carrying the heaviest backpacks. You can call, text that person, have a conversation. It might sound to be something small, but it goes a long way. Remember, in conclusion, every person goes through a season, and every season has a purpose. Every man has a story. No person should struggle alone. It's important because you need to be able to know where you are, to accept, acknowledge, reach out, and find meaning in life. And remember, self-care is not punishment, it's not selfish, it's self-maintenance. All right. Thank you so much for your time and for your attention. It has been nice. It has been quite good talking to you. Let's stay connected. You can call me, you can talk, reach out. So if you've got wellness related questions, let's talk. And yeah, let's get going. So feel free to reach out so that we can help one another. All right. Thank you for attending. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you've learned. I hope you feel empowered by this session, this presentation. Thank you so much. It's almost an hour. Thank you so much for dedicating this time for your wellness, for your health, for your mental health. Keep well and keep looking after yourself and your significant others. From me to you, I salute you and I appreciate you. Have a great day.